Hola clase, hoy vamos a hablar sobre el presente. We're going to talk about the present tense. The present tense is really easy. We should have learned it freshman year or in Spanish 1. So we'll just kind of go over it and make sure that we have all got it right. So first of all, ¿qué describe? What does the present tense describe? The present tense describes something that is happening in the present. This should be pretty obvious. Things like we eat, they run, Maricela and Jorge find the puppy. Anything that's currently happening, okay? That can be the present tense. So before we talk about conjugating the present tense, we need to talk about the parts of a verb. We can talk about a Spanish verb as having two different parts. Okay? There's the root and there's the ending. So these AR, ER, IR endings are called infinitive endings. Okay? An infinitive ending means to verb. So my AR, ER, and IR tell me that my verbs are in the infinitive, which means to verb. So hablar means to talk, comer is to eat, and vivir is to live. I know that they're an infinitive because I can see that AR, ER, and IR ending. Okay? The root tells us what the verb means, so this habla, come, and vive, and the ending is going to tell us how to conjugate it. So what set of ending we're going to use, because we have AR endings, ER endings, and IR endings. So depending on what the verb ends in, the infinitive verb ends in, we're going to use a different set of endings. Conjugating, okay? Step 1 to a present tense conjugation is to remove the ending. So we take off that infinitive AR, ER, and IR. So we're left with habla, come, and vive. Okay. Step 2 is to add the new endings. AR verbs are going to use these endings. The endings will match with whoever does the verb. So if I wanted to say I talk, do you remember what talk is? Hablar, we take off the AR ending, habl, and I attach my yo ending for I talk. Hablo. I'm going to do the same thing here. Hablas, habla, hablamos, habláis, hablan. Okay, just in case maybe we need a quick review, yo means I, tú is you, él, he, ella, she, usted, you formal. Okay, so the difference between tú and usted is just the formality. Tú is informal, usted is formal. Nosotros is we, vosotros is you all, but only in Spain. Ellos is they, a group of boys or a mixed group. Ellas is they, a group of girls. And ustedes is you all, anywhere other than Spain, or in Spain it's you all formal. Okay, so my endings are o, as, a, amos, ais, an for an AR verb. ER verb, we use this chart. The ER verb we've been using for our examples is comer, which means to eat. So if I wanted to say I eat, como, you eat, comes, he, she, or you formal eats, come, nosotros comemos, vosotros coméis. Oops, sorry about that. And they, or you all is comen. So all we're doing is we're taking this verb comer, taking off the ER, and then adding a new ending depending on the person who does it. So if it's yo, I'm going to add the O ending. If it's you, informal, I'm going to add the ES ending. Okay? So now this next one should look pretty similar to you because for IR verbs we use really similar endings. The only difference are emos and is instead of amos and ice. So I think for IR we've been using vivir, so which means to live. So I'm going to take off my IR and add a new ending, depending on who does the verb. So I've got yo, vivo, tú, vives, él y usted vive, nosotros vivimos, vosotros vivís, and ellos ustedes viven. Okay, so I'm taking this meaning part of the verb, the root part of the word, and I'm moving it and attaching it to the endings, right? To make it mean different things. Okay, real quick, we're going to talk about stem changers. There are 3 types of stem changers, I to IE, like pensar, cerrar, preferir, querer, which mean to think, to close, to prefer, to want, or to love. I to I, decir, servir, pedir, which mean, decir means to say or to tell, servir is to serve, pedir is to ask for or to order. Then I've got my O to UEs, which is almorzar and dormir, to eat lunch and to sleep. We also have that funky stem changer, which is a U to UE, jugar, which is to play a sport. It's not really its own category because there really is only that U to UE, jugar. So it doesn't need its own separate category because there's not a whole group of them. So now we're going to talk about how stem changers change, okay? So the way that they change is whatever letter it is, whatever vowel it is that changes, you're going to find it. So pensar, it's going to be the E. And when you start conjugating, this E is going to change into an IE in the shape of a boot. Okay, we call them boot verbs because they only change in this boot shape. So they change here and here. Okay, so they change in the shape of a boot. So here your E would change to IE for pensar, your E would change to IE for pensar, your E would change to IE here and IE here. And these, we would leave it alone, your E would just be an E. So let's do this with a verb. Let's do a practice. Let's say I wanted to do, what's what we talked about? Dormir, which is an O to UE stem changer. Okay? It's an IR verb, so I'm going to have to use my IR endings. So my D, I have dormir, I add an O, and I know that this O has to change to a UE. I have my ER ending, or my IR ending, ace. My O here is going to change to the UE, duermes. I have dormir, add my E, duerme, and then here we go, nosotros, I will not change here. It's just going to be dormimos. Here I won't change. Dormís. And then here, duermen. So you can see that my O changed in all of the forms except for nosotros and vosotros. Okay. So go ahead and do these practice problems. The girl eats the chicken. You and Lola want to travel. My parents live in Guadalajara, and we talk to the president. Go back and check your endings. Make sure you're using the right endings for the right verbs. If you're using an AR verb, you need to use an AR verb ending. If you're using an ER verb, it has to be an ER verb ending. Same thing for an IR verb. Watch out for stem changers. There's at least one in there depending on how you translate some of these. So make sure you don't forget how to do a stem changer in the boot form. And if you have any questions, please write them down and come with them to class tomorrow. If not, be prepared to take a quiz. Have a great night. Adios.